Hello everyone. A quick recap of our workout from last week, our Tuesday workout. So we started with, of course, warm up and then banded. We placed the band around the feet and we did these banded lateral walks. So for if it's too intense around the feet, you can certainly move it around the ankles. So you want to find your core engaged, drop into a kind of mini squat, if you will. So a mini hip hinge. Make sure your knees are tracking over your toes as you start stepping sideways. So your hips, especially your gluteus medius, will be working very hard. You take 10 steps to one side or however many you can. This is a small space, so maybe that's your case too. And then come back. You can do a few repeats of that. And then we did a hip flexor march. So keep the band where it is and core stays engaged, and you lift one knee towards the chest at a time for 10 on each side. Then we brought up the band to above the knees, and we did goblet squats. So the band will remind you to sort of push a little bit against it so that your knees track over your toes, and you want your feet to be shoulder width apart, slight angle in your feet. Everybody's hips are a bit different, so it depends whatever feels right for you. Shoulder blades are steady down the back, core engaged, back straight, and you lower yourself as if you're sitting on an imaginary chair and come right up, pushing through the heels, and do 10 reps of that. Our next one was alternating shoulder press. So you can move the band, and we did. So you bring your arms to where they fall naturally. You're not going to be fully flared, but there's going to be like a 45-50 degree angle in your arms. And you can certainly do send both arms up at the same time. So make sure your core is engaged and your hips are steady, so softish knees. And you can just send both arms up, or you can do one at a time. And you can also do a slow descent. On the way back, on the way down, you just go a bit slower. All right, our next one was a lateral lunge with knee drive. So you can do it without any weight, or have a weight in front of your, hold one in front of your chest. The main idea is here that you are gonna just go into a lateral lunge, so your back is straight and you're bending one knee as you're coming over it. Bring it right up and knee drive. So you lift that knee all the way up towards your chest, and this will challenge your balance and also core strength. So you do 10 on each side, and then you move and do 10 on the other side. All right, then we did pull aparts, actually with tubing or with a band. You can do that. And for that, you're going to have the band or tubing eye level, and imagine that you stabilize your shoulder blades, and you're going to bring the band across the chest. So you really want to pull the two ends of it apart. You start from the middle, softish elbows, right? You don't want to lock your elbows, and come right across the chest. So you will feel, ideally, you want to feel your sort of mid-back muscles working as you pull that apart. Next one was RDLs. So you want to have, again, hip width or shoulder width apart in your feet. Back is straight. Maintain that lower back curvature no matter what, right? And your chest is open, and it stays open as you descend with your weights towards somewhere mid-chin. So breath in, engage your core, and you go down. So you hinge your hips as if you're pushing the door closed with your butt, and come right up. Squeeze the glutes a bit, but make sure you're not losing the core engagement. And that's one rep. And you can feel free to increase the weight in the dumbbells if it feels right. Once you've mastered the movement, definitely you don't want to feel any discomfort in your lower back. If you do, that's usually a sign that you're probably rounding your back without realizing. So make sure to do that movement in front of a mirror or somewhere, or have someone telling you, observing whether you're kind of rounding your back. All right, bridge kickstand. So you can just do bridges. Bridges are an excellent exercise for the hips and for pelvic floor strengthening the pelvic floor. You can, however, play a bit with it. So you can have both feet on the mat, legs 90 degrees, and as you exhale, lift the hips to where you feel your glutes engage. Make sure you're really grabbing the mat with your feet so that you feel your glutes engaging more. If you want, you can, like I said, play with it a bit. You can have one leg in kickstand, so you put your heel to where your toes would be, the other one stays full foot on the mat, and you come right up for 10, you switch and bring it up again for 10. The important thing is to have that exhale as you come up. All right, our next one was a side plank, which you can just keep into a side plank if you want. So elbow under your shoulder, come right up. Your knees are a little bit in front of your hips. Come right up to where you feel your core engaged. If this feels really like a lot of effort, absolutely master this first. So feel free to hold it for 10 seconds or 20 or 30. If you want, you can progress to having a long leg, sort of like hip height, and bringing it up and down. Or if you want, you can bring it towards the chest a little bit and extend it to the start position. So all of this while holding your hips nice and steady. So that's the whole idea. You really want to maintain this like spine stability and hip stability as you're moving the top leg. All right, and then we did I believe we tried 2 exercises. So one was from lying fully on your mat, legs at 90 degrees, and as you exhale, close that space between hips and ribs and keep it that way. Then take one inhale on top of that as you bring your knee up. Exhale, toe tap or heel tap. As long as, so this works, it looks a lot easier than it actually is. So maintaining this engagement in your abdominals is actually quite hard with this movement. So toe tap, bring it right up, and again toe tap for 10 on each side. If you want, you can certainly alternate. Bring it down. So in this case, you don't do toe taps, you just alternate, making sure that as you use your breath in a way that's not gonna disengage that you from holding that space together, like nice and tight. So that was one of them. And then another one, if you want, you can just try an elbow plank. So from lying down on your mat with your elbows under your shoulders, tuck your toes in, come up to where you're not having your hips too high or too low, so you don't want to feel it in your lower back, or you don't want to hike your hips, but you want to have your forearms parallel and your core working quite hard. And again, hold it for 10, 20, 30 seconds, or add some gentle knee taps, either double or single ones. So the idea is you want to do this exercise for as long as, again, you can maintain that really good core engagement. Once you feel like it's kind of getting a bit hard to hold, just take a break, and you can either repeat it or do it in round 2. So these are all the exercises that we did, 2 or 3 sets, and finish with a nice cool down and stretches, and you're good to go. All right.